Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to Let That Be Known News. I am your boy Dan, the anchor here in the studio today, and we have some very, very interesting news. First topic that we'll be hitting today that we'll be introducing is the Ohio realtor who's racially profiled in front of his house, and also the 13-year-old boy who shoots a police dog, and his mother is looking to be held accountable for his actions. And we're here to talk about that today. But first of all, let me introduce my co-host. Let them know who you are.
Hello, how everyone's doing? This is John. Man, make sure you grab yourself something to drink. Make sure you take these notes, and that way you can see what's going on, and let that be known. And we do have a icebreaker before we do get into these stories that we have on tonight. Just something just to loosen it up just a little bit here. But then we'll get going into our news segments.
We do news a little bit unconventional.
Yes.
You object to the rumor or you object to being the crackhead?
To being a crackhead.
Thank you. Okay, I didn't think you are now. You used to be, maybe?
Never.
Maybe a little bit at a time?
Never.
One rock?
Never.
Half?
Tried it one time.
Ah, I knew I had.
But I tried it.
I knew I had something going on. I can smell it. I can smell it. Anybody coming here having used crack, I can smell it. I smell a little crack in you.
There it is. Can nobody spot a crackhead like Judge Mathis? If he says rock in the room, it's rocking.
It is rock in the room. I mean, as a crackologist. Oh man. But yeah, so we can get into it now, man. We're gonna start with what made it go viral in the first place, and then after that, we'll go with the interview that he did on Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco Johnson.
Let me prep you guys for what we're about to watch here. This is a very interesting story. It is a black couple at their home being approached by a white lady. The mother's at home. The father is pulling up in his car, and the white lady's standing in front of their home. And he essentially asked her, you're looking for someone, or can I help you? And she wanted to know that he stay there. And that's kind of where it all went downhill and what we're finna see and witness here. And we can only thank the Lord that this didn't go south. This could have went really wrong. But we want to get into it. I just want to prep you before you watch it so you can kind of get a gist of what's going on.
Knock on the doorbell. Ring doorbell. We need you. What's going on?
Do you live here?
Yeah.
You do?
Papa.
I don't believe that.
What?
I don't believe that.
So what are you doing here?
Rory, come on. Rory, come on.
Hey.
Did someone come here?
That was my wife. Somebody chased her out here. And she had kids.
Who chased her?
She said somebody in a
There was a
silver
guy
truck.
in a gray truck, and he came
So
around the corner,
I don't
and
know if you guys have a
I was
rule.
in the street, and so I come up, and I just have my kids, and so I'm like gonna pretend that I'm coming home, and so I pull up and I start walking to your back gate, and he stops here and he goes, "Are you looking for someone?" And I said, "Nope," and then he sat here, and I was like, "I need to get in."
Well, that's my husband. That's why he lives here. Yeah. He lives here. So he came in and he said there's a lady screaming. And I'm like,
She got all worried that she
scared the crap out of me.
How?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
how did he scare you though?
I had a feel.
How
just seen her in the driveway, and I was like, "Are you looking for somebody?" Because I was pulling up out.
And I saw someone walking in our driveway too, and I'm like, "Why is someone walking in our driveway?"
Well, I'm sorry.
All right, sorry.
What? She said that's walking from there.
No, you came this way, didn't you?
No, I came down this street right here.
Yeah.
And I was riding slow because I'm looking at our Christmas lights.
Well, you just have to understand my point of view. Being by myself with 2 kids, I just saw a car coming, and so I was like, "Oh, it scared me," and so I just pulled up here, and I kept thinking, this could be his house. But you didn't say, "This is my home." You just said, "Are you looking?" And I was like,
I did. When you was on the porch, you asked me, "Did I live here?" I said, "Yeah."
And you said, "No, you don't."
And you said, "I don't think you do."
It was obviously you could tell that I was really caught off guard.
Like I'm pulling in my, it's like I'm pulling in my house. Like this is not this neighborhood is probably one of the best neighborhoods in Ohio. You don't have to worry about stuff like that.
Well, I'm very sorry. I really hope that you're not upset with me.
Come on, baby, go in the house. Let's go.
You told me that I didn't. You said you didn't think I live here.
It was the way that you were talking. I was so caught off guard. I'm so sorry.
Wowee. As you just watch this at home or wherever you are, you just witnessed this, a classic case of racial profiling. This young lady here says she was walking down the street. She sees a truck driving up the street. He begins to slow down as he noticed someone is in his driveway, as anybody would do. If you're driving up to your house and someone's in front of your house, you're going to slow down and wonder, what are they doing in front of my house? You're going to be trying to scope things out or try to understand, like, what's going on? And then as he continues, he pulls into his driveway and he asked her, are you looking for someone? Basically, can I help you? Or are you looking for someone? And she says, do you live here? He said, yeah. And she tells him, no, you don't. And so he's basically like, okay. And then she takes off and she's screaming her lungs out down the street. And she runs all the way to wherever she stays and tell her husband someone is chasing her. Someone's chasing her back home. And this man is pulled in his driveway at home. And then she begins to lie as her husband comes back and said, well, you didn't say you live here. Now, I must preface you this. This came out before the Ring camera video came out. So the young lady who was racially profiling had a whole nother side of the story and was lying. Now, this couple decided to put the Ring footage out once they seen the lies that was being posted by her online. They was willing to just kind of let it go. They wasn't going to post anything, almost like, well, no one got hurt. We're not going to make it a huge deal, right? We haven't really had no problems in this neighborhood. This is the first time we've had any issues, right? We're not going to kick up a bunch of dust. But the moment she begins to start lying, now it became a trickle effect. They post a video, then she posts another video crying, telling people to please stop calling her racist or telling her, that she racially profiling, telling people that they don't see it from her side of view. And you're at this man's house. Like, I can understand if you was at your house and somebody pulled up to your house. That's a different story. But you pulled up to his house and asked him what he doing. What is you doing? What are you doing here? And he basically like, what are you doing here? I live here. Like, what are you doing? And so, man, this is a crazy set of events, man, that could have went tragic. Of course, the police were called. Of course, one screaming their lungs out. And this is, from what I hear, it's a very well-off neighborhood. This is supposed to be a very, very affluent neighborhood, good neighborhood. And of course, the police are going to come right away the moment it's called. So the police got there trying to, figure out the situation of what's being said and done. And me, honestly speaking, not to get in trouble with the network, but I believe somebody should have went to jail that night. And it's not him. Especially if she or her husband called the police. You call the police, basically saying this guy is following you. I'm not sure how he's following you when he pulls into a driveway. He gets out of the car. He starts walking towards his front door. As he's walking towards the front door, you ask him, do you stay here? He said, yes, I do. No, you don't. And then you begin to run and scream as he's walking into the house. I send it over to John, man. John, what you think, man?
Crazy. Yeah, man. For the ones out in our great country of ours that says racism no longer exists, it's to the point she's on his property telling him that he doesn't live there. Like, I would have pressed charges on her for trespassing and anything else I could have put on her, because that could have ended very, very badly to where he's no longer here. And there's been countless and countless of cases.
We have seen that.
Of, of white people screaming, crying wolf, and come to find out it's your own insecurities, it's your own racism, your own prejudice. Now what if her husband came down crashing out, guns are blazing?
What if he showed up to this man's house and started shooting?
Just because she's running down the street,
saying she's being chased.
That she's being chased. And then, let alone the very sad part about it, she is installing this in her children. She had her children with her while she was doing this. So they're going to grow up with the same ideologies and values, thinking that all black people are bad or a threat to them. They're being installed with this.
This is even more crazy. For her to be as petrified as she said she was, why are you walking at nighttime? With exactly. 2 of your children.
Should your children be asleep? I know mine is.
Whether they sleep or not, why are you outside walking down the street at nighttime as petrified as you say you are?
You are. Mm-hmm. And then if you're that petrified, why are you going to someone's door?
Her claim was she thought she was being followed by this man as he pulled into his house.
So you gonna go to a stranger door?
She act like I act like I was going home, like I was going to someone's home.
You going to a stranger door?
As you can see, she's ringing the door, the doorbell, the Ring camera.
Mm-hmm.
Now his wife is there. As she states later, as we will see, she was in there working. So she all of a sudden hears this commotion that pops up on her phone on the Ring camera, and she's kind of looking. So she ends up, kind of meeting her husband at the door as he's coming in. She's coming out.
Right.
And she's basically like, what's going on? By this time, the lady and her husband reappears. Now, my thing is, why did you come back if you were so afraid? Why not just call the police?
And then the icing on the cake is she pleaded with him to talk about, you have to see it my way.
My way. Like, you have to see where I was coming from. Why was... Like, I don't have to see anything.
So never mind my shenanigans. Never mind that. Then she left her stroller there on at the porch too. Hopefully there wasn't no child in there. Hopefully. But you know how asinine that is to have all these shenanigans and then you want them to see it your way.
or let alone just see it your way. She basically wants them to say that she was right to feel the way that she was feeling. That's basically what she is insinuating or implying.
And
That
did she even apologize? I didn't hear an apology.
she hasn't apologized, and since people were getting on her on social media, and she ended up she ended up closing down her social media pages because people were basically on her neck about her actions, and she said she wasn't going to apologize because she didn't think she was wrong.
Now I did hear that this is the first incident of this sort, of this magnitude. There's several. This
Yeah.
is several different incidents of the same magnitude of racial profiling.
And I you want to know the first way that you can tell? Listen to the response of her husband. He has the demeanor of like, not
sick
again.
of it. He's sick of
He has the demeanor like, oh my gosh, not again. Here she go with this BS. It's like he wants to turn around like, nobody's following you.
Go home. That's somebody got too much time on their hands.
Because he had there was no emotion with him. Like he's over it. Like if it was any other guy, he probably would have been like, if he was stupid like her, he would have been trying to get an attitude with the family, like, well, you scared her and all this kind of stuff. He just kind of like, man, like, I'm sorry, like she thought this and that, and so I say you can tell that this is like who she is by her husband. If this is something that she don't normally do, I'm pretty sure her husband probably would have took it a lot more serious because like she just don't do this. She just don't, but this is something that currently, that this happens often. And so you can tell by his demeanor. If you go back and watch that video, pay attention to the husband's demeanor, and it'll tell you a lot about what's going on about the situation, how he feels.
Yeah, that's, and I don't feel sorry for him because he's allowing this. He's allowing this. Or if she's like that, man, you need to get away from her, because what happens if she gets pissed off at him?
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
Uh-oh.
From what I hear, the family reached out to HOA, and HOA refused to reach back out. From what I've heard, this is what I'm hearing.
Somebody let some hot water.
They reached out to the housing authority about her actions. And the housing authority, I guess, refuses to either reach back out to them or address the situation. And so this thing here it's getting spicy.
It's getting spicy. The HOA, they gonna take care of HOA first. They're gonna protect the brand first. So, and like I said,
my thing is they're part of HOA. They're part of the housing authority. This is something that the housing authority is supposed to address when you join the HOA, like harassment, trouble with neighbors, things of that nature. The housing authority, when you sign up for a housing authority, you are basically signing up to follow by some guidelines and rules of that housing, of that community. And so if obviously she's breaking rules and guidelines by just being on someone's property.
It's trespassing.
And so this is very telling because HOA isn't responding, and it's been some days since this happened. So HOA has had plenty of time to either call or email or whoever the president shows up at the house, and for them not to do so. Look like some more like we have a racial epidemic here, guys.
And this ain't even in the South. This is up north. Come on, y'all. Racism is alive and well. It's alive and well.
Sad day, man.
You work hard, to put your family in a better position, put them in the best environment that you can, to keep them safe, to try to put them in the best schools, best, just kind of get the best out of life, the best neighborhoods. And he worked to do that. And when he gets there and arrives there, and not only to get there and then to have a Karen to come and harass your space, your private space at that, and nothing's done. Hopefully, after this backlash, something is done so she can stop this behavior, because it's very dangerous. Like, thank God, he didn't lose his life behind this. People didn't, cops or her husband didn't come guns a blazing. But there's a lot more incidents similar to this where they're not so fortunate. Now we do have an interview with Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson, where the guy that was racially profiled did an interview with them to explain what happened, him and his wife. It's a little long, so we're going to take some breaks in between and chop it up a little bit and continue. But here we go.
We're going to welcome Damichael Jenkins. He's a seasoned real estate developer, investor, custom home designer, as well as chief operator officer and owner of 3D Vision. And unfortunately, Ocho, he was involved in a disgusting racial profiling act outside of his own home. Mm-hmm. And so welcome, Mikey. Congratulations to your Buckeyes. Well done. I know you I'm surprised you ain't got on your Buckeye shirt. But congratulations to your Buckeyes to you. And I think that's your wife?
Yeah.
Congratulations, ma'am. Thank you for joining us. Mike, if you can go back, I know it was in November and here we are in late January. If you can recount the events as you remember as vividly as you possibly can.
Yeah, I can remember. It wasn't too long ago. I was leaving one of my real estate job sites in the inner city, wrapping it up for the day. It was about 5:15. Took me about 45 minutes to get home. So I'm proud to go home. Shannon, something I want you to know is when they say it's a affluent neighborhood, it's one of the most wealthiest neighborhoods in Ohio.
Wow, congrats.
And my house is the best house in the
neighborhood. That's what I'm talking about.
Because
Come on now.
I designed it from scratch. I'm an architectural designer. I bought the land, I financed the land, designed it from scratch, and I built it from the ground up using all my resources. So proud to come home. I'm pulling up, checking out my Christmas lights we just put up for the holiday season. And there happens to be a lady in the driveway with 2 kids. So I don't think nothing of it. Kids coming in and out my house all the time. I got kids, got a family over here. I don't think nothing of it. I think she's looking for the front door. I say, hey, are you looking for somebody? She doesn't answer. She then proceeds to go to the porch. So I'm like, okay, so she's probably coming over. So I pull in the driveway. I'm about to park. And she rings the doorbell and comes to the front of the front porch and stops me and says, do you live here? And I said, yeah, I live here. She said, well, I don't think so. So I said, well, what are you doing here? She says, I don't think you live here. Picks the kid up, drops the stroller, hops off the porch, starts running, and I hear screaming, yelling for help. At that point, now I'm in fear. I'm in fear because I know what we face as Black men in America. So I rush to the garage, park in the garage, come in the house. My wife's in the office. I said, babe, some white Caucasian lady, she just jumped off our front porch, screaming, yelling for help. I don't know if she's going to call the police. I'm pacing back and forth. I don't know what's about to happen. 6 p.m., regular day. We pacing back and forth. I don't. At this point, I'm like, I don't know what's about to happen. She comes back before the police gets here. I don't want to go outside. I don't want to go outside with them outside. And the police pulls up, and I don't know what's going to pop off. If the police pull up, altercation happen, anything could happen.
Right.
I know they're going to side with them. So my wife's come outside, and she just wants to figure out what's going on because she's in shock. And I'll let her say how she ended up coming outside or whatnot.
Okay, when he
came home and he said, there's
I was going to ask you.
go
He
ahead.
comes into the house. He says, "Babe, there's a white lady standing on our porch. She's running, yelling, screaming. I don't know what this is about." And so, what's going through your mind when he explains what he just encountered?
I was in my office working and I'm confused. I'm not understanding what's going on. Like, what do you mean there's a white woman running, screaming for help? Screaming for help for what? He's like, I don't know. And immediately my heart dropped. I'm like walking and pacing back and forth. Like, okay, just wait. Okay. Well, what happened? Nothing. I was just pulling in the house. And I'm like, what is she screaming for? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, are you, what? What? And I keep opening up the door because I feel like the police is going to come here. Somebody is about to come here, and I don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what fully happened. I didn't hear anything. I'm in the house working.
So
and so I kept opening up the door, and that's when I came out.
So she did end up calling the police.
She did end up calling the police.
Did call the police.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. Now, this happened in November. The video just recently got released. What caused you guys to release? Because I'm glad this is on ring camera. Because you're absolutely right. Had this not been captured on camera, on video, we already know the story that was going to be told and how it was going to be spun. But you guys had it on camera. What made you guys finally decide to release it?
Well, I actually released the video in our community Facebook group. Oh. We have a community Facebook group, about 500 or so people. And ever since I've been like, we've been shattered. We've been upset. It's so many different factors and so many different feelings. So many different.
So before even getting out into where it's at now, they released it in their Facebook group, their neighborhood Facebook group, and no reaction, no action, nothing.
They tried to handle it behind scenes, so they tried to reach out to HOA. They tried to reach out to the other community members and the other members in the community, like, hey, what are we gonna do about this? And it was nothing. And like Shannon said, without this video, we know how it would have been spun. Right? And this is a classic case of being Black and not being looked at as equal. Like, most of the times as Black individuals, we deem to get to a decent neighborhood or a nice neighborhood, to have some peace so that our children can be raised in peace. But if anything happens, especially concerning you, it's almost like, oh, you don't belong over here, no way.
Yeah. I don't believe that.
She said, I don't believe you live here. Now, they're not new to the neighborhood, guys. You know, mind you, they, as you will learn later on in the video, they're active in the community. So it's not like no one knows who they are. It's like no neighbors know who they are. Like, they're not new there. It's not like they just moved there a few months ago. They've been living there for some time. this is a sad situation, and you can see it all over his wife's face. She's extremely pissed and hurt.
She is.
Because there's no consequences to what happened, and she's hurt because of what happened. And as you hear the husband say, I ran inside because
you know how sad that is.
I'm a black man, and I know like how this plays out for me. That if the police pulls up and I'm outside, I will be met with aggression.
It's already at 100.
So, as he would tell you later in the video, his wife is outside talking. He's inside, virtually terrified, because he's thinking like, man, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. Police might come here. They might want to arrest me. They might want to whatever. Like, I know, and like he said, I know how this goes.
Yeah, I just said, you know, you having to rush into your own house just to save your life because of a lie, of delusion. But let's continue.
Different feelings. I put the video in our community Facebook group to share what happened. And it took a lot for me to do that. And then we woke up and the videos everywhere.
You know what's funny? It's one thing to experience racial profiling in public. You know, in public, I'm sure we all have stories where it happens in that setting. But for it to happen in your own home, I mean, it can be unsettling. It could be uncomfortable, especially when it comes to a place that you call a place of peace that we can all get away from, you know, from the outside world. Has that affected your sense of security and trust in the neighbors? And have you reconciled in any way with the neighbor who caused these issues?
Of course, there's a lack of trust. Of course, it makes us feel unwelcome and unsafe. We have 2 boys, and he leads our family. He protects our family. So to know that we can't go walk the dog, or someone looking at us is what's going to happen. It's a lot of weight. It's a lot of pain, and it's a lot of emotion.
I can still.
And he's desensitized to this.
I still hear it in your voice.
So of course, it not once have we got. I thought the next day maybe there will be some flowers at the door saying not once has this person reached out to us to give us a sincere apology.
Wait, whoa.
HOA.
I reached out to HOA immediately after it happened.
Nobody said anything?
Immediately after it happened, I reached out. HOA ghosted me.
Wow.
For lack of better words.
Can I ask you this? Prior to that night, prior to that incident, had you ever seen
take
this
their money
woman
every month
prior to this incident?
I've been in the neighborhood for 3 years. I built the house from the ground up.
Told you guys,
the developers in the
they've
neighborhood.
been there for a while.
I lived in the front of the neighborhood while I built the house. I walked to the job site.
I gotta say this real quick. We can get right back into it. Anybody that's familiar with the Fluent neighborhoods, neighbors are nosy, and especially when you move in, they're gonna make themselves known. They want to know who's living around them. Now in the hood, as long as you don't mess with me, I ain't gotta come up and meet you. None of that. In the Fluent neighborhoods, they want to know who's around them. So they're gonna show their face. They're gonna know who's around them. They're gonna come up and kind of meet you, or at least walk by to see who's living around them. In the Fluent neighborhoods, or even affluent adjacent neighborhoods, I would say. If you live in a pretty decent neighborhood, you're gonna know who's around you, who's living around you. But just from what you just said there, being there for 3 years.
Well, they said they work in the community.
Yeah.
They have community things going on there in the community, He said we worked there. He said they've been there for 3 years. And
Yeah.
I just told you guys, I can guarantee you they didn't just move there.
And then he said he designed the house himself. So if he designed the house himself, he was there during the construction process.
Well, he said I don't know if he said, but he's gonna say it later that he often get people come by there, to talk about the house or whatever, or to talk about the design of the house because he designed it himself. So, as he see the lady pulling up to the house, his mind is there. Oh, she's here to see the house, or that's what he's thinking. He's not thinking nothing negative.
And the Christmas lights is up. It's around Christmas time, so Christmas lights is going up. Things
Maybe
of
she's
that
looking
nature.
at the lights. Maybe she's looking at the house. Like he's gonna say later, this is not uncommon for people to come by and look at your house or look at your lights.
Right.
To stand outside your house and admire your lights or whatever. So, when he pulls up, that's why he's like, are you looking for someone or, and that's when it just turned bad. He's just kind of lost. Like, okay.
Every day. So, have I seen her eye for eye? No. I've walked by their house and seen them on the front porch.
So she see
when they came, I didn't recognize.
Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead.
I didn't recognize them, but I was going to say it's a 90%, 90% or more of the neighborhood is predominantly Caucasian. So we're one of Black families in the neighborhood.
And our house sits all the way in the back of the neighborhood, and the people ride by and take pictures every day. And there's a lot of publicity with our house, so it really was it was shocking. But they stay to themselves in the neighborhood.
Let me ask you this: when you walk up and you ask, "What can I help you with?" and she says, "Is this your house?" you say, "Yeah," and she says, "I don't believe you." When someone tells you they're standing on your porch and they tell that's not their property, and they tell you that this is not your property, what went through your mind when someone is standing on your porch and they say, "Well, you don't live here"?
Well, that's when I was battle tested as a Black man, as a man that had been to prison, that's had to transition and learn how to put pride and ego to the side and control your emotions.
Okay.
That's when that kicked in. That was the ultimate battle test. Because in my mind, I said the audacity of her. That was in my mind, but I had to control my emotions in the moment because I knew where it could have escalated at. I'm thinking, well, what if she had a gun?
Correct.
I said
would
that.
she have been running or would I have been running?
Is this the situation? Because now she said, well, you have to see it from my point of view. No, I don't need to see anything from your point of view when you stand on my porch. But for her to say, well, you didn't say, well, I really live here. I live here. I don't have to identify myself. This is mine. Why do I have to tell you who I am when you standing on my property?
It took everything out of me, not to get out of character. And especially when they came back, she brought her husband back. He was real standoffish. I was scared to go outside, but I sat on it. I was listening. I said, I can't let my wife sit out here with these people. What if the police pull up?
Right.
So, I went outside and I just had to make my face known. And I had to let them know I do live here. A Black man does live here. I did build this house from the ground up. I did design this house. I had to show my face. And as soon as I came outside, you could tell they switched it all the way up. Let's get out of here. Let's go. They switched it all the way up.
When the police arrived, what did the police say? Okay, what was the side of the story that they told the police? And then what was the interaction once the authorities arrived?
I hid in the house. I didn't talk to the police. I'm not about to come out there with them. Those police might gun me down.
So you let your wife?
I hid in the house.
So you let your wife handle it?
I let her handle that.
Okay. What?
Yeah.
I made a report. I made a police report. it was emotional to make a police report because we all know what happens when you call the police. So I had to think to myself, do I go outside? It's dark. Do I let them come inside? Do I sit up? Do I stand down? Do I let my son? Do I let my son be in here? How do I explain this to him? And even explaining and sharing that this lady racially profiled us. She ran from her house screaming. There's no telling what people can think. My son came home from work, who's 17, and said, "Mom, what if I was taking out the trash? What if she had a gun? What's going on? Why are the police here?"
That's crazy. Hey,
but I knew I had to make this report.
Hey, despite the difficulties of the situation you've been through, have you guys or are you guys moving forward with reclaiming your sense of safety, being that it is home, and in any way, despite them not, giving sincere apologies or letting you know that we welcome you here in our home, especially HOA and the neighborhood sales, do you still have hope and motivation to keep sharing your story from this point on for others that might encounter these situations in ways they can prevent things from happening and being able to de-escalate those situations?
100%. I have nothing against their family, but I grew up dealing with this all the time. So we still have to live here. They live 2 streets over. We have to ride by each other's house. I'm okay with being cordial with riding by each other's house. I have no issue with them. The issue is getting the word out here and letting my situation and what I've been through and what I've overcome be inspiring to people in the world, people that look like me. So that's the space I'm in. And I'm thankful for God because I didn't ask for her to show up on my porch. This is God's movement here. This is God telling me the people need to hear your story. You need to inspire. You need to tell people what's going on and use this so that hopefully this won't happen to the next person, or the next person that comes across a Karen situation, they will know how to control their emotions. Because us as Black men, especially young Black men, we struggle with that. We struggle with that impulse, with that acting. Mm-hmm. We think irrationally, and we never think rationally.
Yeah, just to speak on that, man, being able to regulate your emotions, man, that's huge, man. Sometimes that can be the very thing that can save your life, or in his case, save him and his family's life. Being able to regulate your emotions, man, being able to put your pride and ego to the side, in this, that particular situation.
I think to dive a little deeper, him just being a genuine nice guy is what kind of kept the situation kind of mellow, especially on their end. Because when he pulled up, he wasn't even thinking anything negative.
Yeah.
So like he was thinking like, oh, maybe she's admiring the house, or she's admiring the lights, or whatever. Like he asked her, like, hey, you're looking for someone? She says, no. You live here? He says, yes. No, you don't. And then that's when it kind of made him kind of puzzle, like, what? And he begins to walk towards his door. She picks the kids up and takes off. Now he's totally baffled because he's like, what just happened? Like, how did this turn into you running down the street screaming? And so he goes in the house and tells his wife, like, man, there's a white lady out here. She's screaming, like, help her, help her. And so I think overall, man, just being a good person. Like, he was just a good person.
No ill intent.
No ill intent. Like when he saw her in the driveway, his first thought wasn't like to be upset or to get out and press her.
Yeah.
Like, why are you here? What you doing on my property?
Or even when she said, "I don't believe you."
You.
He could have turned up then.
He could have just started yelling, and now,
like if you don't get off my property out there,
you know, all this kind of stuff. He could have became combative with her. You know, he did the right thing by just flat out just going inside. You know, and so they called the police, and this is so sad. And his wife brought this up. She said, "I was reluctant to make a police report because you know how that affects you in your community when you file a police report against a neighbor.
Yeah.
Now I have to worry about my son. Is my son gonna be okay? Is my husband gonna be okay? Are we gonna be fine? Can my son take out the trash? Can you have this?" So, like, that's sad. And then to be ghosted by HOA.
Mind you, back that was in November when
This is
went
November.
down. And they said the next day they reached out to the HOA.
HOA. We almost at the end of January.
Facts. And still nothing.
We're going on almost 2-3 months.
Now let them have missed the payment.
Oh, for sure.
HOA gonna be in your face then. They're gonna be at your door then.
Oh, for sure. They're gonna find you.
Yep. But when HOA is supposed to step in and regulate this, nowhere to be found. Ghosted.
Now, if she's been doing this in the neighborhood, she should have been written up as a nuisance. And so many times they can actually, HOA can actually get you out of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
They can make you sell your home.
Facts. Cause she's very much so a nuisance. And if, like I said, it's been reported that this isn't her first time.
That she's done this on several other occasions.
So it's very terroristic, like. But.
So I'm here to inspire people. I'm a real estate developer. I build houses from the ground up, single family houses. But I thought that moving into the most wealthiest neighborhood in Ohio, that this was the right thing to do. But maybe my focus needs to be building communities that's for us and by us, so that we can inspire people that look like us. We can build a community that's for us.
Can I ask you a question? You said something very interesting. You said she lives 2 streets up from you. So you mean to tell me she went 2 streets out of her way to try to find out who lived in this home? Not on your street, not on your block, not on your street, not on your block, not next to you. 2 streets.
It's 2 streets up, but she's all the way north. We're all the way south. It's multi-million-dollar houses back here. The lots are big, so it's 2 streets, but it's still, we could go 30 days, 60, 90 days without seeing each other.
So she went out of her way.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. She issued an apology. She also said that she reached out to you and tried to apologize multiple times, but she hasn't had a response from you. Did she try to apologize to you in person, or was it through this video that you guys have seen?
She has not tried to apologize to us in person, via phone, via knock at the door, via phone call, via email. No, only the live videos.
Now, apparently, if we were to believe what the report says, that this woman has a history going back as far as 2018 of creating these situations and then making herself out to be a victim. Have you guys seen that? Have y'all seen any of those reports that's being circulated?
I have not seen that.
I have not seen.
Can I ask you this? I want to ask you this. Have you thought about, since your privacy, your security, have you thought about potentially even leaving that neighborhood and going elsewhere? Or you saying, nah, y'all not finna run us up out of our home?
100%. I've been in Ohio my whole life, and I face racial discrimination at its highest peak. I'm a stereotype person, tattoos, dreadlocks, a man that's in the professional world, in the real estate development world, that you don't see too many minorities building multi-million-dollar homes. It doesn't happen here. So we 100% have thought about moving to another state, taking my talents elsewhere, building a community, to going places where we could be surrounded by more people that look like us.
Man. So let me ask you a question. What was your relationship with the neighborhood? Did you have any interaction with your neighbors, like to the left of you, in the front of you, to the back of you? What's the neighborhood like? I know you mentioned it's a very affluent neighborhood. There are wealthy people that live there. You mentioned $1 million homes. What's the relationship with you in the community other than with this said individual?
So it's the wealthiest neighborhood, and they got a saying that once you reach a certain tax bracket, race doesn't matter.
That's a lie.
So it's a lie. But people say that. People say that. So everybody out here, majority of people out here, they walk every day. They take pictures of our house. They say hi. You can ask people in the neighborhood. Those people are not friendly. They don't say hi. They don't take too many walks. They don't walk their dog. They stay in their house. They are standoffish.
Wow.
So the neighborhood is friendly.
But
I don't know about them.
She said something very interesting.
We participate in.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I was just going to say we participate in community events, and for the most part, the neighborhood is friendly. She posted videos after this happened, and the neighbors brought it to us because they put 2 and 2 together. So that's how we even found out that they knew about it.
She mentioned to you, as you was walking up, you have to see her point of view. She's walking her kids. It's late at night. If you're that afraid, why are you out at night walking your kids? If you as afraid as you say you are, did that cross your mind? Like, well, if you say you're afraid, why are you out here in the dark by yourself? You're married, your husband's not with you, and you got a small child. So it can't be that dangerous. You can't be that fearful of your life if you choose at night to walk a child.
It's 6 o'clock in the evening. Okay. It gets dark early, but yeah, we thought about that.
Of course, I wouldn't be outside walking with no.
Yeah.
No.
Without that firearm,
not at all. Especially if you have been through things or whatever. Like, I'm not walking at night. Period.
Oh, that's crazy.
She called herself
good. Simple as that. And as soon as someone tells me that's their house, all bets are off. Okay, if you're scared, then you walk home. That's it.
I don't know. I guess I just look at things differently. I've really never walked by somebody's house. Oh, you live here? Oh, definitely I'm not standing on somebody's porch and asking is this their home if they drive up. I'm in the neighborhood. I see somebody in their driveway or somebody on the porch. I throw my hand up. I keep it moving. I'm not going to stand on someone's porch and ask them if they live here. That's none of my concern. That's just me. Maybe I don't think I'm unique in that, guys.
We ain't nosy.
That's privilege.
We ain't nosy like that though. we ain't nosy like that, man. We see somebody, man. We chunk up the deuce. We say hello, and we keep it moving. The first thing we say, we see a nice house. Boy, that thing that nice, ain't it?
Right.
And we keep it moving. Who it belongs to? It ain't our business.
You mentioned that you have a 17-year-old son, and as Black, we have to have that conversation with our Black young men. Is that it's always yes sir, no sir. It's yes ma'am, no ma'am. When you get pulled over, look, hey, just be as polite as you possibly can, because your job is to get that man or that woman to your car, back to their car, and on their way as quick as you possibly can. It's not about, all this and all that. We'll fight it in court. Whatever it is, if they said I was speeding, if I was improper lane change, I don't have a tail light, or what, erratic driving, let's go to court. We can argue it in front of a judge, in front of 12 people. I can't argue. I got to have you make it home.
Mm.
Have you had to have that talk with him? Have you had it already, or did you have to have that talk with him immediately after this incident?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was emotional, and it was multiple talks. It was multiple talks, and even was days where it's like, you know what, I don't know if you should go outside and walk our dog.
Right.
Let me see. Make sure you go out before it gets dark. It's a lot of weight. It's a lot of weight.
You've received.
Man, with us being black fathers, man, knowing that we're gonna have to have that same talk with our sons, man.
Well, I've already started, and so I make it perfectly known. Um, um, I was traveling out of town. I got pulled over. Right. This is the first time I've been pulled over in years. Right. I'm out of town. I'm outside of Texas. This is the first time I've been pulled over in years. My children have never been pulled over before. And my children automatically knew. The first thing my oldest son said, "Oh man, it's the popos." And as he approached the car, they were silent. Nobody said anything in the backseat because they understand that we are now in a life or death situation. And my job is to try to, as Shannon say, escalate this or expedite this as quickly as possible. I'm not finna argue with you about what you said I did. Do what you're gonna do, and let's go on about our way. But I have this. The reason why I had this talk early with my sons is because, in my humble opinion, when you wait to have this talk, say your son is a teenager, he becomes a teenager, he's 15, 16. You wait to have this talk with him, it can be a little hard for him to understand or relate. My children live in a nice neighborhood, right? You know, kids, they don't fight out here, they don't do none of that. So my kids don't really know, the bad side of life or bad side of the other side of the law. They're not privileged to that. Versus how I grew up. I grew in a neighborhood. It was nothing to see the police out there arresting somebody or beating somebody's tail or like that. That was nothing new. So if my parents had told me like, "Hey man, you need to look out for this or don't do this and that," it would have been easy to have that conversation with me because I see it. But when your children don't see that or they're not privileged to that, then it's a thing that you have to constantly instill in them so that they can get that locked into their head that, hey, when I become a young black man, that I need to operate as such. I need to move as such. When I get pulled over, man, I need to be polite. I need to, whatever was said was done. If he's giving me a ticket, take my ticket and go on about my way. I don't need to argue. I don't need to do any of this. And so even telling my son, like, hey, man, you become an age. If they're going to arrest you, just let them arrest you.
Don't fight it.
Don't fight it. Don't ask them why. Just let them arrest you. Or if you see something becoming combative, like I tell my son, for those who travel with a firearm, this is what I told my son. I said, son, if I have my firearm in the car and the police pulls me over, and for whatever reason, he decides to violate my rights and search my vehicle, I will ask the police to put me in cuffs and put me in the car. And then you can search the car. Do not allow the police to search the car and you have a weapon in there while you in the car. And these are things that I instill into my son. And I always tell people, the moment your children start asking is the moment you need to start instilling.
Yeah.
Because if not, they're going to get it from somewhere. If your child is asking you about sex or where babies come from, it's time to start having some talks. Because evidently they've been hearing a lot about it.
From somebody.
And if they don't get the information from you, they're going to get it from one of their little friends or from somewhere else.
And it's going to be incorrect more than likely. Or I have truth. And then that's how teenage pregnancies and things of that nature happen, and all those consequences that does go with that, or those type of situations. But yeah, so like he said, like Dan said, they starting to ask about it.
You need to start slowly introducing them to whatever.
You don't have to just slam everything, but start just.
Well, don't be raw with them.
Yeah.
They're kids.
But,
but
you got some parents out here, man. That's where they not parents, but they.
Well, most of the time we come from the thing where parents don't tell you nothing. Like,
don't even ask me.
Like, we heard about sex from other people, TV or friends or relatives or wherever we heard about it, and we got our own perception of what it was. But parents really didn't sit you down and be like, hey man, this is what sex is, or hey, this is where babies come from, or hey, this is the consequences
if you
premature sex, or this is what can happen. There's a lot of diseases out there. Hey, this is what happened if you have a baby early. This is what it's going to do to your life.
Yep.
So having these conversations with my son, he start asking, and I just start telling him, like, from everything, from police to where babies come from, everything. And he just want to know, like, so why won't you, why you want to get out the car to let him search it? I said, son, because most of the time he's going to be nervous and scared. And he, if you tell him you got a gun in the car, he's going to immediately reach for his gun and ask to see your hands. And now we're in a life or death situation. Because now he has a gun drawn down on me, and I'm praying that he doesn't pull the trigger for whatever reason. So if they ask to search your car, before you tell them you have a firearm, say, sir, can you pull me? Can I get out of the car? And you can handcuff me, and then you can search my car. If you know you have a firearm, if you know you have something in there, a weapon in there. Do not tell the police, oh yeah, I got a gun in here.
No.
Now, some polices are cool. They be like, fine, just keep your hands on the steering wheel. Don't reach for anything. All police, but a lot of polices aren't like that.
And you don't want to take that chance, man.
And you don't want to take that chance. And I tell my son, you don't take that chance. From everything. I tell my son always, there's certain rules my son is to abide by. And I tell him, hey son, if this such happens, you tell them to call your father. You're a child. Don't you argue with an adult. If there's an issue with an adult and you feel like they're treating you some type of way, if you get stopped by the police and you're a child, tell the police, sir, don't question me without my father present.
I'm a minor.
I'm a minor. These are things you teach your child. Tell the police, sir, I'm a minor. I need my parents. I need my mom and my dad. And don't say another word.
Facts. Like they say, what's said can and will be used against you.
Well, not only that, but like for your safety, son. When you become a black teenager, there are cops out there that will abuse you.
Yeah.
And if you're arguing with him and he feels like you're getting the best of the argument, there most likely will come physical abuse.
Yeah.
So there's nothing else to be said. But hey, I don't have nothing to say. I'm a minor. Please, I don't want to talk without my parents.
That's facts.
A lot of overwhelming support from
We had
social media, though. I mean, everybody's been on your side. The social media has come to your defense, and like the way you handle it. And you mentioned your situation, having made some decisions in your previous when you were younger, and you learned, and you said, "Look, I got to channel this. I'm not gonna give them the ability that says I'm angry, and I have every right to be angry because I'm in the right here." But nobody cares about that because all they're going to look as you as a black man, look at your history and bring that into the equation when it had nothing to do with this woman standing on your porch.
Exactly.
If you could,
Yeah.
people going to watch this. This is going to get picked up. If you could say, what would you want people to know about you, your family, and how you handle this situation?
I'm a black man in America that's overcame every obstacle that could be thrown at you. Growing up, making bad decisions, being around the wrong people, and being given a second chance to transition. Raising a family, being married. My 17-year-old, I've been there since he was 6 months. This is my it's my son, but he's not my biological. I've raised him as he's my son. I have an 8-year-old as well. I'm here to inspire people, to show people that control your emotions. Control your emotions. That's one of the most powerful things that a man can do, because a dangerous man is a man that can't control his emotions. So a situation like this that's broadcasted across the world, you can see that I was given every single reason to act, and I still control my emotions. So I want to use this moment, these platforms, to inspire people, lead people, and to show them what a real man is and what a real man is supposed to do. You take care of your family, protect your family, control your emotions, and that's what we're here to do. And also build communities. I want to build houses from the ground up. I want to build communities. I want to design high-end luxury homes. These are things that I want to do, that I got a passion for, that it's in my bloodline. Custom home builds. My grandpa was a custom home designer and builder. These are things that I want to take to the next level and be known for, and show people that in the real estate industry that we can strive, we can survive, and we can do what they do, and even better. So that's what I'm here for.
Do you have a sense or when or if you'll ever get your normalcy back? Because your life has been interrupted. You didn't ask for this, but as you mentioned before, God don't put on any more of this than what we can handle. He chose you. He chose you for a reason. And the way you handled yourself in that situation, I'm not so sure a lot of us, because she went out of her way. She had no business on your porch to begin with. If she didn't think you lived there, she could ask that question from the street. You don't bring your tail on someone else's front porch and then ask them. That's not your place. I can see if you were at her house and you're asking for directions. You're like, "Are you lost? Do you need help?" She's on your property. Did you think about pressing charges for trespassing?
I would have.
We did, and they threw it under the rug. They filed a police report that wasn't nothing that we told them. We asked for the police report. They never gave it to us. We had to track them down to get the police report, and looked at it. It was vague. We thought about pressing charges. We did all that. I thought she gave me every right. She's on my property.
Correct.
That's self-defense. I could have gunned them down, but I had to hold my composure as a man. for my family. Because even though it was self-defense, it could have been self-defense, not for a black man, not for us.
Hey.
Wow. Damichael, thank you for sharing your story with us. We really appreciate it. You handled that thing very well. To your wife, what's your name, ma'am? Brittany. You and Damichael handled it very, very, very well. I'm not so sure very many people would have handled it with the class and with the poise that you did. You did everything right. And even though you did everything right, it seems like everything has gone wrong. She was wrong for coming onto your property. The authorities seem to be wrong for how they've handled this situation. Hopefully you get the clarity, you get the judgment, the respect that you deserve in this situation because you did everything right. And seemingly as of right now, things have gone wrong. Hopefully, the Nightcap family, everybody that's in this chat, we're praying for you that you get your sense of peace, you get your sense of normalcy, and you get everything that you deserve back tenfold. Because just talking to you, you're a good man. Brittany, you're a good woman. Y'all a great family.
Yes. And
you're doing the right thing. So I tip my hat to you for the way you handled this situation and continue to be blessed. God's going to continue to bless you because you're a good man and you do great things for the community. And I want to thank you, Ocho and I, Nightcap family, want to thank you for sharing your story with us. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. This is going to go out and you're going to get an outpouring of support.
Yes, sir.
And it still wouldn't be enough for what you guys went through. But I thank you for sharing your story here with us on Nightcap. Continue to be blessed, continue success, and we'll talk to you soon.
Flat out, you got our support here and let there be known news as we're sitting here.
Yes, sir. You definitely got our support here, man. And like we said, man, we applaud you, man. You know, the way you handled that, the way they've been handling that situation. Like we stated earlier, we could have easily went all the way left, but the way they, you know, they carried themselves and their personalities, that played a big part in, you know, the outcome that it did, you know, due to the situation and what it could have been. But yeah, you do definitely got our support here and let there be known news for sure.
Shout out to Shannon Sharp. A great interview, asked some really, really good questions.
Yeah.
Really got down to the bottom of this. And we will be praying for this family, man, living in that neighborhood, and pray that they can regain some sense of security. We understand that they're going through troubling times, man, because the police report was swept under the rug. HOA has ghosted them. HOA refused to respond. The other neighbors have kind of distanced themselves, so they are outcast in their neighborhood, and you did nothing wrong.
Yeah. Except be black.
So, you know, I think we'll leave that here. We've been recording for some time, so
yes,
we'll leave that here. And we want to share this video with you guys, man. Man, be careful out there, man. Be careful. How you conduct yourself, man. Be careful, man, trying to pop off on somebody, man. Yeah. Please, man.
It's not worth it.
If you can go, man, just leave. You know, just leave, man. Just leave. I've been put in a situation, and I just kept driving, man. You know, a guy cut me off. He gets out of his car and he's yelling, and you know, as if he wants to do something. And first response is like, "Oh, let's do it," or whatever. Whatever you want to do. We can do hands, or I got something in here too. But I said, God, this is not the way I need to handle this. Yeah. I heard acting a plum fool in this shopping center. Then 2, he had his son in the car.
So you're gonna put your son in danger.
And I said, And as I rolled by, I said, man, I don't want no problems, man. You have a child in the car. You have a blessed day, man. We don't need to be doing this out here.
Yeah, we got to do better, man. There's already so many of us in prison, man, due to not being able to regulate our emotions. Crashing out, man.
You know, always remember, man, as a man, your super strength, man, is your ability and your, you know, that's your power, is your strength, your ability, your hands. A woman's power is her mouth.
Yeah.
So as a man, you're not able, or you're not allowed to use your super strength.
No, it's because it's fatal.
It's fatal. So you have to, you know, you have to be able to control your emotions, man. Most of the guys in prison, man, are in there because they are super emotional.
Facts.
You know, I know guys who were killed for looking at somebody the wrong way.
Yeah.
Or guys got killed for stepping on someone's shoes, man.
Or he say, she say situation.
He say, she say. They don't really know the whole story. They just go over there and start shooting people. You shoot somebody out for somebody said, or you shoot somebody just because you thought they were looking at you wrong. So, man, this is the time we live in, man. Ain't nothing changed, man. Just a different day, man.
Facts.
Man, y'all stay safe, man. Y'all stay safe, man. Y'all stay prayed up out there, man. You know, man, pray, man. Pray, man, that God would guide you, man. He would protect you and your family, man. And, man, move smart out there, man.
Facts.
Don't move reckless, man. It ain't worth it. You know, it's not worth it, man. You know, you don't have to be tough. It's not worth it, man. We love y'all out there, man. We love y'all. We thank y'all for the support. Continue to support us, man. Like, share, subscribe, man. It don't cost you nothing, man. Don't cost you nothing to give us a like, man. Leave a comment, man. We will respond back if you want to interact with us, or if you have anything that you want us to report on, man. And here at Let There Be No News, man. You know, leave it down in the comments, man.
Comments, yeah.
And we will report on it, man.
For sure. No, for sure. Yeah, reach out to us, or even, you know, getting our DMs and on Instagram, man. We respond back, man. For sure. We don't take it for granted, man. We appreciate y'all support for sure.
When you see our video pop on the algorithm, man, make sure you like it, man. Do not scroll past our video.
No, for sure, man. Yeah, make sure y'all like that thing, man, and then subscribe and hit that bell so you can get all of our, so you can receive notifications when we always post, for sure. We appreciate y'all, man. We love y'all, man. Till next time. Thank y'all for tuning in and Let That Be Known News. Peace.